This is me going live, of course. I want to talk to you guys about the lies that are being told to us. Steps are being forced into the stimulus check. What is the government paying us for? To stay home, right? To stay at home. And they're paying us to stay at home because of the coronavirus. Obama made a speech last year, and it said we would have to work together at every level, federal, state, and local, if an epidemic has grown into the deadliest outbreak like the Ebola outbreak the world has ever seen, right? But he didn't shut down the world when that happened. He said, we together, an outbreak of Ebola overwhelms the public health. Fellow delegates, we come together and unite with nations with a choice to make. That was Obama's speech. You know, and Ebola has been ravaging Africa for like a decade now. You know what I mean? So it's Ebola in Africa. And it's so crazy. Because when you look into it, it has taken over. And that's where they're saying it's like zombie reports and stuff like that. But, you know, the craziest thing at all is that our Congress, right, did a speech on the zombie law. I don't know if anybody's heard about it, but it's really crazy. Zombie law by Congress. Right? And in the Senate, this is classified.
Congress shall now vote for approval of H.R. 8791, the Homeland Terrorism.
H.R. 8791 is a bill that is for the zombie apocalypse. Okay? I just want you guys to know that.
Preparedness bill. Said bill requests emergency response funding up to and including, this section is classified, dollars to prepare for a national level terrorist attack.
And by the way, this was out in 2007 when they passed this bill, or 2008, along with, no shit, I'm shit you not, the skull fucking bill. You are not allowed to skull fuck people. It's against the law. Okay? Why we would need that in America to have that law presented to anybody is beyond me. But this is the zombie law. I want you guys to hear this.
And or attack from classified. Funding for first responder personnel and...
Let me tell you, the representative speaking, his name is John Haller. He's the representative of Pennsylvania of the 12th District. This was on C-SPAN.
Vehicles would be doubled if said attack leads to more than 80% of national population being affected by classified. This funding shall commence in conjunction with the first attack on classified, or the first large-scale outbreak of classified, dependent upon which comes first. Civilian and military units shall be trained in containment and combat of classified, including irradiated classified with possibility of classified
now,
airborne.
I want to let you guys know that they declassified this whole thing, right? And I'm going to play the declassified one for you in a moment because it's just crazy enough, right? Just crazy.
Flesh eating, classified, and or all of the above in such event as classified spewing, classified escape, are released or otherwise become uncontrollable. Air Force units may also be directed to combat said classified due to their enormous size and otherworldly strengths. Should event occur in urban areas... Jesus.
You hear the word he said? Folks, he said Jesus. Now, Jesus wasn't mentioned in any of the other parts of this said classified stuff, except for when he got to suburban areas, and then he said Jesus. Now he wants to bring God into this. Hold up.
That's classified, far surpassing our darkest nightmares. Should casualties exceed classified body disposal actions, shall be halted and associated resources shall...
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. It says body disposal actions. That means getting rid of the bodies that are infected. But I want you guys to take note on what the man says after this, right? So he's talking about disposing of the bodies. By the way, this is AMKS, Goddess Radio. saying what you think, too afraid to say. Please, folks, wake the fuck up.
Shall be reallocated to classified underground, classified protected birthing centers.
Okay, did you hear that? Will be reallocated to classified underground birthing centers. Okay, now we were just talking about disposing of bodies that have been, classified as flesh-eating, classified, subhuman strength, classified zombie things, right? And now we're going to dispose of these bodies in underground birthing chambers, right? Well, what the hell? That's two different things, birthing and disposing of dead bodies. Okay, but I don't know. I'm not the brightest crayon in the box, but that's how I take it. Here we go.
A new Bill of Rights shall be drafted and approved by classified.
A new Bill of Rights will be approved by classified because they don't know who it's going to be approved by. They're going to take our Bill of Rights and shove it right underneath the door, and they're going to tell us this is what it is because it's classified and we don't know who's making it. Freaking crazy.
With the bill, I ask you to please cast your votes.
Okay, this is the skull fucking one where we really don't need to talk about that because that's a little bit
crazy.
Thank you,
Madam Speaker. I rise today to introduce the Ocular Penetration Restriction Act of 2007, mandating a minimum 5-year prison term for the offense of ocular penetration, commonly known as skull fucking. I don't have to quote statistics for you.
See, that's just insane right there, right? I mean, come on. The zombie law could net government big bucks from distracted pedestrians. When the zombie apocalypse was mentioned in the White House of Commons, people just, they passed it. They passed that law. It's the terrorism fighting bill passed. Raw video, it says. Here we go.
Rich English
Of course, you got to get a commercial in here because that's what life's all about. Just selling us more shit we don't need. It says, on motion to concur in the Senate.
This vote, the yeas are 250, the nays are 153. The motion is adopted, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
This is insanity. This is telling you the Republicans passed this law, 194 votes. Democrats did not. They nayed it at 122. 54 Democrats said yes. Total of yays were 250. Total of opposed was 153. So what happened? We passed the bill. You know what I mean? We passed the bill. Is that just insanity at its finest? So, I'm trying to see because they did declassify that, where you could actually, they've got this zombie and Mark Homeland declassification hearing against the opening.
Mr. Argas, please summarize your 5 minutes.
And here's the funny, only 14 people have watched this video.
Center for American Progress, where I focus on civil liberties and national security concerns.
It's a really bad version of it. No wonder nobody's watched it. Okay, let's just go on to the next thing here that I want to talk about. So we're talking about Obama's speech, how the United Nations, now like you all, may be responsibility to act in the interest of my nation and my people. Our differences are to be exclusion of work that we must do together. Okay, we have lost our minds. We got the people talking about the coronavirus and the stimulus payment. Millions of Americans will have a federal stimulus payment. Now you're talking about they're going to give us all this money, $1,200 per person, $500 per kid. Here's what they're not talking about: the homeless people getting anything at all. They've been out of work. They're not on the streets anymore because apparently they're all put up in auditoriums, and in St. Louis they've only got one. This is what I don't understand. In St. Louis they only got one homeless shelter open, and before they had 3, and they couldn't even house all the homeless people that we had. That's insanity. Where did they all go? Ask yourself. I don't know. Again, this is AMKS, saying what you think, too afraid to say. So, They're going to give everybody a stimulus check. They said this stuff wasn't supposed to last longer than April, but why give us money if it's going to last longer than April? You know, I've told you guys about the food shortage. I also told you guys about the gasoline prices going down. I want you guys to know that this is just a cover-up for, there it is, zombie law decat. It's been removed, it said. It's been removed. Oh, that's funny. It has been removed. And they passed it. The things that people do today, I just don't understand. But you can sit in on the Senate and the Congress and the common law. Stop it, Kitty. I'm doing something. Stop it. So I want to talk to you about the scientists, the 5G, and the stimulus and the coronavirus, right? It all goes together. You know what I mean? The 5G in certain states aren't taking it, going to it, and that is Hawaii. They're not allowing it to be there because they have found that it does damage to not just the animals, but also to the plants. And that much radiation or gamma rays is what it really is. And the frequency that it's putting out resonates all over. That's why they have to cut down the trees so you can get to it. It is a gigahertz, terms of gigahertz, unit alternating current, AC, electrical, magnetic, EM. All you're missing is the P for pulse. So this is an electric magnetic wave, which is a pulse that affects the transmission speed of a device. And significant of 5G technology promised to radio millimeter bands in 30 to 300 gigahertz range, while the 4G tops out around 6 gigahertz. When applied, the video latency, this is a translated speed up to 60 to 120 per times. Now let's go back to in 1970, government sound waves. Quit. You're messing with me right now. Waves where they were putting voices in your head. Voices and making people sick. And I have a picture of it. I just don't know where it's at on my computer, and I was trying to pull it up, and of course, you know, it's not doing it. And it's targeting people, right? It's a targeted kind of thing. And images. Let's see if it's going to show it to me, or if I'm going to have to actually look it up. Oh, there it is. What do you know? See, I'm not crazy. So, right here, 1974. Each vertical line is one short pulse of a microwave signature at a frequency to which the human brain is sensitive. Then the brain converts the train of the microwave pulses back into inaudible voices. There is no conscious defense possible against the hypnosis that they're going to be putting on us. This is 1974. You know what I mean? There's another one. It talks about being in the house. It's right here. Right here. It says, this is so good, how it's going to work, right? Individual remote mind control via mobile psychonetics weapon carries the pulse communication vehicles. You can do it off a vehicle, but the towers are the ones where it says mobile phone networks and mobile phones. That will be, it's connecting us, all making us into a synergetic one unit, right? And the one that talks about what the damage does to your body is this one right here. It says, overall, let's see if I can get it to blow up so I can look at it. In 1984, it's taken forever. It's mind control technology, and it's not going to give me the picture. This is a whole thing by Wikipedia, directed energy weapons, shielding educational and search for Drew protection. Personally, Thor Shield energy weapon protection fabric is most effective protection against non-lethal energy weapons on the market today. Who writes a book about that? Who writes a book about it? You know what I mean? Come on. The things that they've been doing to us has been going on for quite some time. When we watch the History Channel or we watch Discovery Channel, it's not all up to date, bro. We're watching shit from 1990, 1989. We're in 2020. Hello. More shielding from Robert. They're talking about, they're experimenting on. This is I just want you guys to know, this is You Are My Autonomy Big Brother blog, right? So you can go here yourself and look at it. It's mind control technology, but that's not what we're looking at. I'm looking at these pictures, and it says the Government Academy releases documents. The documents right here. And I'm trying to get me to where I can see it, but it's taking me to these Big Brother things. Okay, releases documents. Right. And anyway, individual groups, remote mind control via black helicopters, psychotronic weapons. You can use it from a vehicle that'll hit 3 or 4 people. Now, when you're talking about the towers, the phone towers, our phone is a receiver. It is also putting it out. If you go to your settings and it says more information about your phone, it says not to keep your phone too close to your head. Use speakerphone or use headphones. But it's mass hysteria that they're doing, right? They can be in your neighbor's house and still hit you. It's how they're targeting. Now, this is the really cool part about it. Now, motor control and cortex, you having problems with your body and legs and stuff, is at 10 hertz. 10 hertz. If you're talking about audio cortex, like hearing things, that's 15 hertz. Visual cortex, where you're starting to hallucinate and see things, that's 25 hertz. Okay? Somatometry, sensory, where you're feeling things, that's only 9 hertz. Your thought center hits you at 20 hertz, right? Information induced through modulation, monitored impulse coordinations, sound which bypasses the ears, images and brain passing the eyes, phantom touches, like you feel things touching you like a ghost. This has been going on since 1970, just months after the mysterious brain-melting weapon accusations in Cuba. That's when the U.S. diplomats had long-term mental damage. Something very strange has popped up, even a stranger in origin. Earlier this year, Muckrock journalist Curtis Walterman, who specializes in filing Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, request, wrote to Washington State Fusion Center, which is WSFH, or FC, a joint operation between Washington State law enforcement and federal government, to request information about Antifa and the white supremacist groups, right? That shit's just a cover story. Those people are paid actors. I don't know. Hollywood has got us all jacked up and we don't care anymore. You know what I mean? They're making movies on what's going on right now. This one's even better. This one right here. I love this one. I've shot this out to people a few times, but I want you to know. Forced memory blanking and induced erosia action. This is put out in 1974, guys. And they have been able to force perception, manipulation of your hands, sometimes sink into the forced walking visions. Special attention to the genital areas and forced orgasms or intense pain. They've been using psychoelectronic weapons effects since 1974, folks. Please. You know what I mean? Let's, you got to give it to Obama. When he opened up the government floor, he opened it up so we could, as a people, take a look at what's really going on. And that it was an information overload. That's what it was. And we, the people, could not deal with it. We didn't know how to deal with it. How do you deal with all the espionage and chaos that they are deliberately unloading onto us so we can see it? You know what I mean? It's crazy. And it's called remote mind control. They call it targeting people. But that's what they're doing. And they're telling us with this 5G that's coming out that there's nothing wrong with it, but they have yet not tested it. We didn't close down the world for Ebola. We didn't close down the world for the biggest AIDS crisis in the world. And that was way bigger than this. I'm telling you folks, we're being lied to. Whether you believe it or not, whether you want to listen to me, please do your own homework. Don't take everything. Be a detective. Who wants to be famous? You know, they don't care. They don't care. The top 5 countries with 5G deployment and trials right now. China being 3 companies leading the charge. The world's largest 5G network was launched by the largest Chinese network operation October 31st, 2019. According to the state-run news agency, so I'm going to probably hack this right here, Xinhua, Chinese Mobile, Chinese Ucom, and China Telecom all activated their networks in less than 5 months after they were issued 5G's licenses. Each of the networks operators offered a 5G service at $18 per month in 50 Chinese states at the reported time. Let's just talk about this. The experiments that's going on. I don't want that on there. Mass experiments, right? This is all just like conspiracy thinking, right? Are you happy with your 4G mobile? It's like, were you happy with your Xbox 360? But they came out with another one, right? It's called Xbox One, right? Is that what it's called, Xbox One? Yeah. Okay. Were you happy with your PlayStation? Okay, they came out with another one, right? And none of the games from the very first PlayStation or the very first 360 game that you paid $100 or $50 for plays on any of the other shit. And now you have to download straight from... My son paid $110 for a K2. He doesn't even have a physical copy of the damn thing. It's in the cloud. Oh, I'm not paying $100 for shit that's in the cloud. You know what I mean? Same thing with this. The phones are the same way. Every year new phones come out and they're more expensive than the next. The iPhone, how much is the iPhone 8 going for, Forrest? $600 for an iPhone 8. That's way better than it was before. My friend bought 3 of them for his kids and he got one free. Woohoo! I said, you telling me you spent $1,500? $1,500 on 4 phones. That's a car. I could buy a whole car for that. Yes, it'd be in the 1980s, but... Okay, so we already know the infrastructure for smart homes and internet things. According to the EU plans, Europe will be the hyper-connected by 2025. And why the rush? So that Europe will not lose out to the US or China in the global race for dominance. So what's the problem? A growing body of science that warns the health risks from long-term exposure to electromagnetic radiation by mobile technology. I just read to you guys that they've been testing this since 1974. They can make you see things, hear things. They can make your body hurt and turn you over inside out. There is no research that affects the higher frequencies needed for 5G. You'll be connected, but at what price? Well, here's what I found out, too. That most of the modems that, you know, like I have AT access, which is $10 a month. But my modem is a 2G modem. People that are paying the high dollar for they're paying the high dollar for the internet and the cable service, they have 4G modems, right? But they're also running their smart TVs where they can turn their TV on and off. Alexa, turn off my TV. Turn off lights in Aaron's room. Turn on, I'm not doing all that shit. I'm going to get up. I don't need the clicker. Clap on, clap off. Who needs that, right? For real. So, in Italy, on July 13th, 2019, they tried it out. Had lots of problems, birds falling out of the air. Vietnam tried it out. Lots of problems with their stuff. People got real sick. Guess where they did their China did their test at? Come on. Anybody? Woo! Wuhan, China. You know what I mean? I don't understand why we as people, as universal people, let's not just say Americans, I mean people. China has got their people so scared of their government that, they have social criticizing of people. If you jaywalk, your face and your name and your address gets put up on a board. And if you don't have enough social credits, you can't even get on a bus. Switzerland, all smartphoned out. Everybody's already got their chips in their hands. They ride the bus, they ride the tram, all with a chip in their hand. American people were a little slower. Only 1 million people stood up to take that chip legally. And I say legally because they've been doing experiments on people for a long time. They started with drug babies in LA where they were chipping them and they would follow them. Now, I don't know about you, but when I have people followed or when people are following me, I tend to get a little paranoid. And that doesn't help with my mental status. I don't know about anybody else, but that would drive me crazy. With all of these players working together and the 3 networks operators had collectively deployed nearly 86,000 5G bases situations with plans to have over 130,000 by the end of 2019. They have done no research on what it does. None whatsoever. Korea doing the same thing. United Kingdom, 4 providers already launched. Germany, what I've been telling you, right? The race is just out of this world. And while we're doing all of that, let's just see what CERN is up to right now. Because CERN has been trying to open a portal to Apollyon to bring up the archangels that have been put in a pit. And they believe it is between France and Switzerland, so that's where it's at. It's 300 feet in the ground. And they're doing some crazy dancing, to a god of destruction, because they believe the goddess of destruction is Shiva, and she believes that new growth can come out of destruction. Just like in certain parts of California, the redwood trees have to be set on fire so that the seeds will crack and fertilize again. Otherwise, they won't do it. They won't do it by itself. So out of the ashes will rise a new world order. And that's what's going on. And the cops have already been New World Order-ized when they go into to their police training and all that stuff. The craziness about it says NWO, New World Order. So, I'm getting a message. People are in the hospital right now, and the people that are dying aren't all young people. They already had hard breathing problems. I believe I already had the virus in December, and I was sick for a month, and it was a pneumonia that I'd never felt before, and I get pneumonia like you change your underwear usually. I felt it go into my chest, and then as they gave me 2,000 milligrams a day of antibiotic, I felt it rise up out of my chest, come to my throat. I ran out of antibiotics after 10 days, and I felt it setting back into my chest. And I told him, hey, you got to give me some more antibiotics. I can feel it going back down to my chest. People, get awake. Please look at what's going on in your universe. Go out. Don't sit in your house and go, I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm afraid. Well, God said have no fear. That's man-made. And they are making us fear each other 6 feet apart. Netflix just did a containment movie on the influenza, which that's what this is, by the way. You ever notice they always like to give it a new name? It's pneumonia. You know what pneumonia is? Influenza. There are different strains of pneumonia and different strains of the flu. It's all influenza. They figure if we give it another name, it'll freak you out a little bit more. I can't help you guys. If you're freaking out, that's because you're not doing your homework. You're not doing your research. They say it can be killed by sunlight. Oh, I don't know any virus that can be killed by heat. When you take a virus out and you put it on a culture platter at the science lab, they put it in an incubator for it to grow. That means, guess what that means? It needs heat. Why is the hospitals always freezing? right? When you go in, you don't go, oh my God, I'm so hot in here. It's like a tropical sinner. Let me take off my friggin' jacket and coat and clothes. No. You're in the hospital like, damn, can I get another blanket? And they want to give you a hard time when they give you a warm blanket out of a warm incubated thing. Here's go warm blanket. That lasts for about 2 seconds because it's so cold in there. You guys, think about it. Why the whole cloak and dagger that the government is doing, I'm not sure. But if you're out there and you're listening to me, you are the resistance. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. This is AMKS Goddess Radio, and I am AMKS Goddess. Saying what you think, too afraid to say. Please grow a heart, or you will fall for everything. Meow.